Welcome to St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. This college is affiliated to Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak and approved by All India Council for Technical Education. This video lecture is a part of series developed for online classes. Hello everyone, my name is Ashish Tripathi and I am working as an assistant professor at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management since 2015. My areas of interest are data analysis and data visualization, which are recommended to be a data scientist. Welcome to Object Technologies and Programming using Java. This video lecture is of Unit 3, which comprises of the package, interface and the abstract class used in the Java. Package: the collection of several classes and interfaces under a common name like a folder is called a package. It provides uniqueness to the class name. It provides reusability of the code. Now, there is a definition for the package that grouping of a variety of classes and interfaces together according to the functionality is called package. Two packages may have the classes of the same name, but within a package, each class has a unique name. So you can think of a package as a folder in your directory in which there are so many files. The name of the files should be different or it should be unique within the same folder. But the two folders can have the same name of the file. The features of the package are: the classes can easily be reused. It makes easy to locate and use required classes. It hides the classes among them. They are defined using a hierarchical naming pattern separated by the period, that is dot. By convention, package should begin with a lowercase letter. The default package available to the Java program is java.lang. It should be imported as the first statement of a program. To define a new package, simply we should write package then followed by the new package name, as this should be the very first statement of our program. There are basically two types of packages available. One is the built-in packages, which are just described in the Java language, and the other is the user-defined packages, which are defined by the programmer. Built-in package. Java provides several built-in packages which can be used in the classes. The first is java.util. It contains the utility classes like the vectors, date, time, calendar, etc. Java.lang. It is the default package and automatically imported in each of the program. It provides language-specific functionalities like object, class, interface, system, math, string, string buffer, exception, and error. Java.awt. It is a graphical user interface. AWT stands for Abstract Window Toolkit. It has classes for push buttons, canvas, menus, labels, etc. Java.net. It helps in networking like socket, server socket, datagram socket, etc. They have classes for communicating with the local computers and the internet servers. Java.applet. It creates the smallest packet called applet, which is used in internet. It has the applet class that provides methods to display the images, play audio files and video files, etc. on the browser. Java.io. It provides facility for input and output of the data. Byte input stream, byte, output stream, character reader and character writer are some of the classes of java.input-output package. So these are the built-in packages which you get in the Java runtime environment. These packages provide the classes which can be used in our program so that we can make a healthy program. Likewise, if we are using a java.applet class, then what is happening? From the applet class we can build so many applets which can be run on the browser. Similarly, with the help of java.io, we can perform the input and output in the stream format in the Java. User defined package. We can create a package in the very first line of our program. In this, we are creating a package named mypack. So for this, we have to write package, that is a keyword, followed by mypack and then semicolon. Later on, we are just using a class like demo. Now, if we are going to use this package in another class program, then how we are going to use it? We have to import that mypack package, and it should also be the very first statement. Likewise, we have to write import, then followed by the package name. Here in this example, it is mypack. Then in the second class called demo2, we can very well use the demo class defined in the package mypack. Hence, in this way, we are getting the class which was defined in the mypack package in the another class. We can have a hierarchy of the packages available in Java. Here is a complete example. In this, at the top, we are making a package called mypackage. Then we are making a public class calculation. Inside the calculation, we are defining two methods. One is the area, the other is the sum. The area functions calculate the multiplication of the length and width. The sum function calculates the addition of the a and b variables. Now we just save this calculation class and in the mypackage. In the second one, we are importing the mypackage as a package, and inside it we are importing the calculation class. So we have to separate the mypackage and calculation with a dot. In the package demo class, I am just creating an object of the calculation class defined in the mypackage. Now I am calling the methods sum and area of the class calculation by its object cal. Java provides access specifier for providing various level of access protection to the classes and the members of the package. An access specifier is a keyword that is used to specify how to access a member of a class. There are basically four access specifiers in Java: private, protected, public and default. If no access specifier is used, then Java compiler will take it as the default access specifier. Here is a figure given. In this you can see that the figure on the left hand, we have the three classes, that is class A, class B and class C. Here the figure on the left hand side, you can see that class A and class B exist in the same package, while the class C is in the different package. So let us assume that the class A has four members which are private, protected, public and default access specifier. As you can see in the figure that the private data member of class A is not going to be inherited or is not going to be accessed even by the class B, which is in the same package, or in the class C, which is in the different package. The public members of class A are accessible by the class B as well as the class C. The protected member of class A are used in the class B, but they are not directly accessible in the class C. Yet the protected member of class A can be inherited in the class C if the class C is a derived class of class A. but the default data member having the default access specifier can only be used within the same package. So the default data members are used by the class B only. They are not accessible by class C. You can quote it down as the private member of class A are not available to class B or class C, as the private member scope is limited only to that class where it is defined, so private member has the class scope. Public member of class A are available to class B and class C, hence their scope is global. Protected members of class A are available to class B but not in class C directly. But if the class C is a subclass of class A, then through inheritance the protected members of class A are available in class C also. When no access specifier is mentioned, then it is taken as default specifier. Default members of class A are accessible to class B as it is in the same package, but not to the class C as it is in the different package. So, scope of default member is the package scope. Class path. The class path is an environment variable which tells the runtime system to look for the location for getting the required classes. It is set up by using the set command in DOS prompt to change the current value of the class path. It can also be changed by the system utility in the control panel. Now, to set the class path, there are two cases. The class path environment variable can be set by the set command. Using the set command at the DOS prompt changes the current value of the class path. So we can write in the command prompt as set class path equals the path. The path to a zip file or a jar file must terminate with the file name, and a path to a .class file must terminate with the directory name and begin with the letter specifying the drive. The class path environment variable can also be set using the system utility in the control panel. Please follow the path. We have to select the start button, then move to control panel. Inside the control panel, we can select the system properties and then move to advanced system setting. Inside the advanced system setting, we should click environment variable, then system variable, and we can select the new button. Then we have to type the new class path in that, and finally write the path to a particular directory or file, then click OK button. After this, the class path will be set. Here is a graphical illustration of the above mentioned path. You can see that we have chosen the control panel, and inside the control panel we have gone to the system and security, then we have moved to the system. Following the system properties, we have chosen the environment variable on the right hand side picture you can see the environment variable dialog box. Inside it we have chosen the path system variable and we have created a new path. Interface. An interface is basically a class. It can specify the behavior of a class but does not tell how it can be done. This can be implemented by any number of classes. Java provides multiple inheritance through interfaces. Some of the characteristics of interfaces are: it specifies the behavior of a class. Interfaces are similar to a class. Interface is implemented by a class. Interface can define only final data fields. That means you have to specify the constant value to the data field, and that data field should be static as well as final. Its methods are declared without any body. That means the method of the interfaces are abstract. They are not declared with some body. It can represent multiple inheritance. That means you can implement a number of interfaces in a class. So Java can have multiple inheritance only through the interfaces. Interface support dynamic method resolution at the runtime. So whenever you want dynamic method dispatch, then you should opt for the interface. Now below is the syntax for specifying the interface. You can see that it begins with the access specifier, that is a private, public, protected. Next there is a keyword interface followed by the name of the interface. Inside the interface definition, you can write the name of the method having its return type and the parameter list. Don't provide the body to the method. Next, you can also give the variables in the interface, but those variables should be final and should contain the value. Here is an example to illustrate the interface. We have created an interface ABC. Inside it, we have created a variable x, that is final integer, and having the value 10. We have also created an abstract method called show. Please note that we should not mention the abstract keyword before this method, because in interface by default all the methods are abstract. Next, we have created a class demo which is implementing the interface ABC. Inside the demo, we should be defining the abstract method of ABC. So we are defining the show method. Inside the show method, I have just printed a line inside demo show. We have also created a concrete method in the demo class, that is PRT. We are just printing a line. So in the main function, when I am creating a object of the class demo, that is OB, and I am calling the show method, then the show basic structure is being taken from interface ABC, and the definition of the show method is being taken by the demo class. I can also call the PRT method of the demo class. An interface contains constant value, that is the final variables, and the method declarations. These methods are declared without any body. The difference between a class and an interface is that the method in an interface are only declared and not implemented. So below are some of the advantages of the interfaces. Likewise, it is a way to implement multiple inheritance in Java. It provides polymorphic behavior to the user. Why polymorphic behavior? Because you can see that we are just declaring a method in the interface and we are implementing that method into a class. That means we are just using the method overriding, but it is not method overriding. We are just making an option or a principle of that. Hence it follows the polymorphic behavior. Interfaces specify the clear dependencies between the object. That means whenever you are creating the object of a class, then that class object must follow the interface rules. It makes the use of dynamic binding. They are independent of the classes, so we can implement as many interfaces as we want. It reduces software modification and extension cost, because we are not creating the class, so modifying an interface is a bit easy than modifying the class. It helps to break up the complex design. Here is an example to showcase the multiple inheritance of the interface. We have created an interface called first, in which I have declared a method show1. Then we have created an interface second, in which there is a method called show2. Next we have created a third interface called third. In this there is a method called show3. Next we have created a class fourth which implement first, second and the third interface. Please notice how we have implemented these three interfaces in a single class. This is multiple inheritance. Inside the class fourth definition, I have defined the show1, show2 and show3 methods of the respective interfaces. Now in the right hand side, I have made a class group interface demo. Inside it I have created the main function and also created an object of the class fourth, that is f. From this object I am calling show1, show2 and show3 respectively. These methods are defined inside the class fourth and we are getting the output as it is declared. Abstract class. A class for which one cannot create an object is called an abstract class. A class for which one creates the object is called the concrete class. In Java, abstract is a modifier of a class or a field that indicates it is incomplete and must be fully defined in a derived class. An abstract method is a method without method body. That means this method is not being implemented. It is written when the same method has to be performed different tasks depending on the object calling it. So you can say a method that is declared abstract and does not have implementation is known as the abstract method. A class that is declared as abstract or whose methods are not implemented is called the abstract class. When an abstract class is extended, then the subclass must provide implementation for all the abstract methods in the parent class. Otherwise, the subclass must also be declared abstract. So here I have taken a syntax of the abstract class. You have to start with the keyword abstract followed by the keyword class and then the class name. Inside the class definition, you can declare the instance variable, member function, some concrete methods and some abstract method as well. Here are some of the characteristics of the abstract class. An abstract class is declared by using the keyword abstract. It is used when the partial implementation is provided by a class. That means the class is declaring only the declaration of the method but not the implementation of the methods. It is written when common features are shared among the object. It can contain concrete method as well as the abstract methods. Abstract class consists of instance variable also. All abstract methods must be implemented by the subclasses. That means it is the responsibility of the subclass to define all the abstract method of the abstract class. It can extend another Java class and implements multiple Java interfaces. It is the duty of the programmer to provide subclasses to it, because if you don't provide subclasses to the abstract class, then as you know, abstract class cannot be instantiated, that is object of abstract class cannot be created, so you cannot use these abstract class. It can have access specifier for its member like private, protected and public, etc. Here is an example of the abstract class. We have created a class A, that is an abstract class because it begins with the keyword abstract. Inside the definition of the A class, I have created a function show1 which is also an abstract because I haven't provided body to this function. We have also created a concrete function show2 which is just displaying the message quit. Next, I have declared a class B which is extending the class A. So whenever class B is extending an abstract class A, then it should define the method show1, and that is what we have done. We have defined show1 method inside the class B. Also, there is a main function in which I have created the object of class B and called show1 and show2 of the class B with the object. This is a second example of the abstract class to showcase that the functions declared in the abstract class can be implemented as and when required, specifically by the derived classes. Here I have made an abstract class called myClass. Inside the myClass there is an abstract method called calculate. The class A, which is extending myClass, is defining the abstract method calculate. In this, the calculate method is printing the square of the x value. In the class B, which is also extending the abstract class myClass, is defining the method calculate, but inside the calculate the definition has been changed. Now the calculate function is printing the cube value of the x formal parameter. Inside the demo class, we have declared the main function and created the object of class A as well as class B. From the object of class A, when I have called the calculate function, then it is calling the square value. And when I have called the calculate function from the object of class B, then it is calling the cube value. Here is a difference between the interface and the abstract class. Interface defines the behavior of a class, whereas abstract class defines the common properties and the behavior of a class. Interface is implemented by the other classes using the keyword implements, whereas an abstract class can be extended by the other classes using the keyword extends. The values declared are final by default in the interface, whereas abstract class may have the final and non-final variables. All methods in the interface are abstract, but in the abstract class you can have abstract as well as concrete methods. Members of the interface are public by default, but in the abstract class the members can have specific access specifier like private, public and protected. Multiple interfaces can be implemented, as in Java multiple inheritance is done using interface, but in abstract class only a single abstract class is extended. An interface can extend other interfaces only, but an abstract class can extend the classes and it can also implement interfaces. Inside the interface there is no instance variable, but in the abstract class you can have instance variables. An interface is written when the programmer wants to leave the implementation to the third-party vendors, but in the abstract class it is written to be inherited by the subclasses defined by the programmer itself. Hence, to set up the relationship between the classes and sharing some common properties, we are making an abstract class, but we are making an interface to showcase the multiple inheritance and also to provide a specific functionality of the declared function. Question based on the today's video lecture are: you have to write what are packages in Java and write the advantages of using the package. You have to differentiate between an interface and abstract class. Thanks for watching this video. In this video you have learned about the interfaces, abstract class and packages. You have seen that Java implements the multiple inheritance through interfaces. You have seen that abstract classes are used to provide common features to all these subclasses. You can have uniqueness in your program by having the packages. So just keep on practicing on these topics. You can wait for my next video. Till then, goodbye. Take care.